Well, there are 3 pick 5s on this juicy 12-race Belmont Stakes card, but only one of them ends in the Belmont Stakes, presented by NYRA Bets. That's races 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 4 of them are stakes, and the best way to play that, pick 5, and all the action here at Belmont Park and all the NYRA racetracks and all tracks all around the country is through NYRA Bets. If you're not a member, we will match up to a $200 deposit bonus, plus we'll give you a free $25 play. Use the promo code Belmont25. Head over to NYRABets.com. The first leg of this sequence is the Wonder again. 5 3-year-old fillies will be lining up, going 1 mile, and Selflessly is in here, who finished 5th in the Breeders' Cup, a race where Sweet Melania was in here as well. We'll talk about her in a moment. She finished 3rd, but Selflessly won our Miss Grillo. Now, Miss Grillo, excuse me. The Miss Grillo was run on the inner turf course. This is on the Widener. But actually, I think with her stalking sort of style and the fact that she'll be sitting 3rd or 4th early in here, I think that she fits this race perfectly. She didn't run that badly with a wide trip in the Breeders' Cup, and coming off the layup for trainer Chad Brown, she might be the horse to beat. But this is a very competitive race, and it includes Sweet Melania, who finished 3rd in that Breeders' Cup race, and Sweet Melania also won before the race before that, the Jessamine at Keeneland. The question with her is whether or not she gets a lot of pressure from Antoinette, the number 4. Now, Antoinette is an improved horse, and maybe she's a better turf horse. So maybe getting back to the turf will help her. But the horse that I like in here and is going to be my main use is the number 3, Highland Glory. We'll take a look at her winning 2 back at Gulfstream Park in the Sanibel Island, and she ran very, very well. She had a wide trip, and she was basically out of position the whole way, and yet she still managed to run down the loose leader Cheermeister, who was a stakes winner in Florida. This was an excellent effort. Did she disappoint last time at 6-5? Yes. But she didn't break. She got steadied out of the race in the first turn, taken totally out of position, and really had an absolute nightmare trip and ran well to be 2nd. Highland Glory is my top choice in here. I will use mostly the 3 Highland Glory and the 5 Selflessly in the first leg of this pick 5. The second leg of the pick 5, this is not a stake. It's an allowance race going 6 furlongs on the turf. I think the 8 My Sassy Sarah is the horse to beat. I will also use the 12 Spitestown Gal for the hot George Weaver barn. I believe 6 furlongs will suit her better than the mile in her 1 turf race. The 8 and 12 are my main 2. Maybe the 4 Stronger Than You Know, and perhaps the 10 Light in the Sky if you're going a bit deeper. Let's go on to the stakes portion of this pick 5, and that'll be the 8th race, and that is the Acorn, where the number 1, Gamine, is very much the horse to beat. And I think if you want to spread in the other legs, and this is Gamine winning a close one in a very, very fast race down at Oaklawn, her last start, 2 turns, now she cuts back to 1. If you're going to go deeper in some of the other races, you may want to single and lean very heavily on Gamine. I think she's way the horse to beat. She's the speed. John Velasquez, send her from the start. Come and catch this $1.8 million 2-year-old purchase for trainer Bob Baffert. She is the one to beat in this race, but she has a serious rival, and that rival is the number 4 Casual, who, like Gamine, is 2 for 2. Her last win at Churchill Downs was a very nice win. She paired up the 90 buyer of her debut. You do have to keep in mind that the co-favorite in here, the actual favorite, did not break out of the gate and had a nightmare trip, so she didn't have to contend with the major player. And the horse who finished 2nd to her came back and ran poorly in a subsequent start, as did the 3rd and 4th finishers. So we saw a number of horses come out of this race and not run well. Now, maybe coming back last week, they didn't appreciate the short rest. Casual is obviously very talented, but I don't know if she's up to the task to beating Gamine. What about Perfect Alibi, the winner of last year's Spinaway for trainer Mark Casse on the outside? Now, you might say, well, she was tailing off at the end of last year. Why would I want her now? And that's a fair enough question. But her last 2 races were both around 2 turns, and maybe she's a better horse at 1 turn. I don't know if she can beat Gamine, but I would not completely dismiss a horse that won the Grade 1 Spinaway and was really coming to her own for Mark Casse, and I do think she'll prefer the 1 turn. I'm not putting much on her in the pick 5, but I think she's the kind of horse that has a chance to get a piece in here, as do I think the 6 Pleasant Orb, but I am leaning very heavily on Gamine in this pick 5 that ends with the Belmont Stakes. The 4th leg is the Grade 1 Jiper, 6 furlongs on the turf. The horse to catch up front is the speed, Pure Sensation, and even if you don't like him, he is a remarkable racehorse because he's been running in this race seemingly every year. This 9-year-old has barely lost a step, and the turf monster, the race you're seeing win here at Parks, 2 races back, That's one of the best races he ever ran. So it just doesn't seem like this 9-year-old has lost a step. 6 furlongs, a little past his best, but he has won this race before, and he lost all chance in his last start, the Breeders' Cup Sprint, when he blew the brake. He needs to get out and be the speed and try to control. We'll see if that's the case. There are other players in here. The filly, or actual mare, I should say, Alexandra. We'll take a look at her running second in the Monrovia at Santa Anita last time, and she's one of 3 coming off races at Santa Anita. Actually 4 is Kenthaka as well, who hasn't run in over a year. Alexandra, it doesn't seem to matter if the paces are slow. She still makes that big run, and Joel Rosario fits her like a glove. We'll see how much pace she gets. She is a very, very dangerous horse in here. I think she's one of the horses to beat. But I'll tell you another horse I think is a horse to abuse in here is the 6 Hidden Scroll. This might be the time that everyone has finally given up on Hidden Scroll and declared him a money burner. Well, if you thought he was a turf horse and you're somebody who bet him as the favorite in that tough allowance race last time, are you so sure you don't want to give him a shot in this race? He figures to be stalking pure sensation, and I think Hidden Scroll is going to finally be 6 or 8 to 1, and he might be worth a flyer in here. I also think the 5 Stubbins can win this race as well, coming from California. I could use up to 5 in here. I could use the number 1 Kanthaka. I'm definitely using Alexandra. I could use Pure Sensation, the 4. I'm definitely using the 5 Stubbins, and I am definitely using the 6 Hidden Scroll in the Grade 1 Jaipur. And then we closed out in the big one, the 152nd Belmont Stakes, presented by NYRA Bets, and the horse to beat, obviously, is Tis the Law, and he is a main horse on all of my tickets. We'll take a look at him winning the Florida Derby last time, and you know the drill. This horse has been perfectly trained up to this race by Barclay Tagg. He has used every single one of his races as a prep to get him to these big races, and I am not in any way against Tis the Law. He is an A and a major player on all of my tickets. Who else could I use? Well, we'll take a look at some of the others, and I am definitely, and we'll go right to the video, I'm going to use the 3 Max Player in my race, in my pick tickets. I know he looks a little slow, but he's a lightly raced horse, and Linda Rice has been giving him time. I love that he picked up Joel Rosario, and he's a big lumbering horse. There is supposed to be pace in this race, and in just a moment we'll get to the reason for that. And with the 1-turn Belmont Stakes at 1 1/8, with that long run of about 5/8 of a mile down the backstretch at Belmont, the pace is always going to heat up. So that helps the closers. And I think that this track at Belmont perfectly suits a wide-running closer like Max Player. And I'm hoping Linda Rice can get through and make an impact in this Belmont Stakes. He is my second biggest use. Sole Volante will be on my tickets as well, especially if I'm singling Gamine, as I'll have some room to spread. Because if this race comes apart, Sole Volante will come running at the end. This is him winning at Tampa Bay 3 races back when he got a nice pace to run at, and he put in his run. Thought he ran fine in the Tampa Bay Derby when King Guillermo ran a hole in the wind. And last time out, well, just 10 days before the Belmont Stakes, he got a useful, almost workout for trainer Patrick Biancone to sharpen him up for this race. And if the race gets a little bit tired late, he's the one that's going to be coming running. But a lot of that depends on the number 1 Tap It to Win, breaking from the inside. Trainer Mark Casse coming back just 16 days after this impressive allowance score at Belmont. And do not confuse those horses behind him as a bunch of slouches, because that was a very promising group of horses from top barns, and he absolutely crushed them, and he's going to try to do the same thing again. John Velasquez is going to send him on a mission up front, and he'll try to take them as far as they can go. Hey, Conquistador Cielo a number of years ago won the Met Mile on a Monday and the Belmont Stakes on a Saturday, so don't tell me a horse can't win this race on short rest. And Mark Casse won back-to-back races with Get Stormy just a week apart, including the Grade 1 4-star Dave last year at Saratoga. He is striking while the iron is hot. I can use any of the 1, 2, 3, and 8 on my tickets, but Tis the Law is the one to beat. Even Dr. Post will be a C maybe on my tickets as well. An excellent card coming up Saturday. It culminates with the Belmont Stakes is the final stake, but there's 2 races after it. But the pick 5, races 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 4 stakes, ends with the Belmont Stakes. The best way to play that and all the races is through NYRA Bets. We'll match up to a $200 deposit, and we'll offer you a free $25 play for new members only. Promo code is Belmont25. Head over to NYRABets.com, and best of luck on the Belmont Stakes card and all your plays.